Arsenal rested Kanu, whose hat-trick beat Chelsea in October. In his place was Thierry Henry, back from a hamstring injury. Could he score for his 9th consecutive game? Chelsea recalled their top scorer too, Torre Andre Flo. Tony Gubba was at Highbury.
Chelsea with their first corner, defended by Vieira. Here's Milchot. Oh, nobody had picked up Dennis Wise, who just took the corner. Zola, still Zola. Where? Blocked. Still in play. Finally away by Grimandi. It was a good opportunity for Chelsea. Zola couldn't quite get the strike in. Where with the snapshot. Arsenal with bodies in the way. Here's Dennis Bergkamp. Parler, Bergkamp. Oh, well done, Bergkamp. Pass back to Dixon seemed likely. Henry's header was well directed, right at the foot of the post, and it would have snuck in. This is Overmars. Silvino goes down that left flank. We'll look to see if Ray Parler's in space on this right side. Just showed a little bit too much of it to Lambourd, but Lambourd's giving it away to Petit. Here's Ray Parler. Oh, it was dipping. A vicious dipping shot by Ray Parler. Vieira to Petit. Well read by Leboeuf. That cannons nicely though for Dennis Bergkamp, who slides in for Henry. Good save by De Hoy. Maybe on reflection, Henry could have done better. Vieira. Oh! Leboeuf missed it. Here's Henry. Surely he's going to score this time. Oh, Chelsea look around and wonder what happened. What happened is that Thierry Henry has scored his 24th goal of the season, and it was a gift. And you've got to look at Leboeuf and say that he's the culprit. And you'd have to say it's a goal that's been coming. Milchot. Zola. Here's Dennis Wise. Good strike by Wise. Cleared off the line by Lee Dixon. It's the closest Chelsea have come. The ball spinning agonisingly on that goal line. Jody Morris. Lambourd. George Weah. Morris. Flo. Digging it out from underneath his own feet, but the build-up by Chelsea is laboured and pedestrian. Milchot. He was a bit short of Dennis Wise, and Adams was on it in a flash. And here's Bergkamp, and here's Henry. Desailly gets across in front of him. Still Henry. Keeps on his feet. Henry! Yes! The Frenchman gets his second. It's goal number 25 for the season. It's 11 in his last 9 appearances. £11 million club record signing in August. Suddenly can't stop scoring. De Matteo to Poyet, who got ball and Tony Adams at the same time. And been waiting for a moment to see if there was an advantage. Mike Reid now gives Chelsea the free kick. Here's Flo. Oh, it just skimmed across the top of the crossbar. It's virtually the first sniff of goal that Tor Andre Flo has had. It might actually just brush the top of the woodwork. Deschamps takes the free kick. Here's Tone. Poyet. Oh, it's a good goal by the Uruguayan. Chelsea have pulled one back. Poyet's 17th goal of the season, but maybe it's come too late for Chelsea.
We needed a great performance today to beat Chelsea. And I knew going into the game that maybe the last 25 minutes would be difficult because we played so many games and we played on Tuesday night. Physically tough game against West Ham. So we had a great spirit again and created many chances, and they created as well because they are a good side, have creative players. But overall, of course, I was very happy with the 3 points.
When I first arrived, I didn't score for maybe 3 months or something like that. So you know, it's football is always up and down. But in the moment, I enjoy my game, and it's always something good for Arsenal in the moment.
This afternoon, it seemed to me that there was something wrong. Probably we are already thinking about the FA Cup Final. Probably we have realised a couple of weeks ago that our hopes to qualify for Europe were up in smoke, and now we are all thinking about the FA Cup Final. But we've got to make sure that because of that, when we play the final, we play much better than we did this afternoon.
Well, Arsenal's certainly on a roll, Mark. Look, certain qualifiers now for the Champions League.
Yeah, I would say so. But I think, you know, generally overall with their season, Gary, I think they've underachieved with the players that they've got, and it took them a long, long time and seemed to take them a long time to get started. But I have to say that there's one guy amongst the ranks at the moment who has not underachieved, which is Thierry Henry. I mean, he brought primarily as a wide player by Wenger, played for him at Monaco, and this was his second goal, and we know all about his pace, we know how direct he is here. The clever thing here is he knows it's Desailly, he slows Desailly down and then goes past him and just brushes past him. I don't think I've seen that all season, but you know, all the goals, as this is versus Derby earlier on, and the goals that he scored, all about, you know, running through there with the pace. Great composure, left foot this time, just slides it in past goalkeeper, minimum of fuss. Second goal against Sunderland, this is very clever as well, I think. Shepherded by Steve Bolden. It's a great dummy. It looked like a mistake. I was at that game, and it was just a fantastic dummy. Gets himself away, and you know, the calmness of his finishing all the time for a lad who plays most or played most of his games out wide. He's all of a sudden, they found a fantastic finisher for half the price of old Sulky Puss who went to Real Madrid.
Good to see you care about your football again, Mark.
Absolutely.
And we've got a...
If favourites always won, bookmakers would have holidays at home. This looked a racing certainty even before Arsenal got their nose in front, courtesy of a goal from an improbable position by Lee Dixon. But just before the hour, Gerald Sibon and Gilles de Bilde made an entrance. 2 minutes later, the scores were level. Sibon on the business end of Vimiont's corner, not the kind of goal Arsenal reckoned to concede. Another couple of minutes, and de Bilde made his contribution. An exchange of passes with Andy Booth, Martin Keown embarrassed, Wednesday ahead. Maybe it's North London that inspires Wednesday. They seldom win away, but they did take the points from White Hart Lane. And when little Alan Quinn made it 3 following a neat build-up, a sensation was developing. If this was the stuff of Wednesday's dreams, they soon woke up. Or more to the point, Arsenal did. From 25 yards or more, Sylvina sounded the rallying call. Too soon to undress. So far, Thierry Henry hadn't scored. But in what was just about Arsenal's next attack, the Frenchman joined Alan Shearer and Mark Stein by scoring in his 7th successive Premiership match. What a goal it was. A bit of history Wednesday could have done without as they bade farewell to the top division.
Gerald Sinstadt reporting, who will follow Wednesday into Division 1. Bradford or Wimbledon. If it's the Dons, it's www.gone. Although the evidence of last weekend's games suggests Wimbledon are favourites to scramble to safety. Of winning a qualifying round into the Champions League, 4th game's entry to the UEFA Cup, and while Liverpool are trying to improve in their recent record of 2 points from 12 away at Bradford, Leeds will be playing West Ham at Upton Park. David O'Leary's side, 1 point advantage, so Liverpool have to hope Leeds' mini revival of 4 games unbeaten comes to an end. In the evening, Arsenal will take centre stage when they bid to bring the UEFA Cup back to North London. Arsene Wenger's side have been in great form, but everyone at Highbury is well aware because of the sensitive issues involving security. Wednesday night's game against Turkish club Galatasaray in Copenhagen will be a tense occasion on and off the pitch. Ian Payne now looks ahead.
This year's UEFA Cup Final is between two teams who went out of the Champions League. One thing is in Arsenal's favour then, the game's not at Wembley.
We're very thankful that we've been given another chance in Europe, and we intend to make full use of that.
It's a major prize for myself and for the club.
If we play our game, that will be too hard to beat.
The UEFA Cup has been much more to their liking, and Highbury has proved to be a more comforting place too, with goals from all sorts of unlikely sources.
We'd rather be in the Champions League semi-final or the final, but that wasn't to be, and we let ourselves down playing at home again in the Champions League, and we've got to try and make up for that. And the only way we've got possible now of silverware is the UEFA Cup, so we're certainly going to give it everything we've got.
Interest in Arsenal's preparations has been immense. Next season, of course, they're already in the Champions League again, but they're still desperate to win in Copenhagen. They've been there before in the Cup Winners' Cup Final in 1994, when Alan Smith's goal gave them the trophy against Parma.
To win something at home is fantastic, but to then go and ply your trade against the best of Europe, whether it be in the UEFA Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup or the Champions League, is a great experience, and to lift a trophy on foreign soil was unbelievable. And then, you know, we just missed out the year after in the final again, and you know, we want to go one better than that year, and I've not won the UEFA Cup, so it's a new one for me.
Ah yes, 1995, Real Zaragoza, and that goal from the former Tottenham man.
I know that everything will be remembered for the 9 goal, but as a goalkeeper, you know, I remember the stuff that I did before to get us there. But at the end of the day, you know, they all remember the goal, and I can't change that. You know, that's gone down as part of my history. But I got the winners before that. You know, so I've sampled both emotions in 2 years, and I know which one I like the best.
On their day, Galatasaray and Georgi Hagi can be irresistible. Sometimes, though, as Chelsea found out in the Champions League, they can crumble.
I played quite a lot against Turkish teams a few years ago with Ajax, and you never know. They can be great, but they can also be quite have a bad day. But that's the same for us, of course. But yeah, I played a few times, and sometimes it was very hard for us, especially away, of course. But if you look at the results of Galatasaray this year, they're doing well, and they look very strong and consistent.
Obviously, there's one or two big names there, you know, that we have to keep our eye on. But you don't get to the UEFA Cup Final without being a very, very good side, and I think they are a very good side from what I've heard. So it'll be a very difficult game, and one or two names will become more apparent a bit closer to the time.
So after beating Lens, Arsenal are England's standard bearers in Europe, but perhaps most importantly, it's hoped it's just the game which makes the headlines against Galatasaray this time.
I think it's very important that we're not sidetracked by anything, and I'm sure their players will look at it the same way, and it's the only way forward is to concentrate on the football.
And our coverage of the game starts at 7:30. Arsenal against Galatasaray, live on BBC One. Arsenal the favourites, Mark?
Favourites, quite rightly so. I think they'll win. I would say to you that while Galatasaray have some good players in Arif, Hakansuke and Hagi, I feel they're very, very poor defensively, and I thought Leeds made enough chances in the 2 games against them to have beaten far more comfortably, so I would go for Arsenal, yes.
And as ever on these occasions, and to benefit a London charity, Arsenal have tuned up for the final.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Arsenal #1.
There's their cup final song. Mark Overmars on saxophone. As ever, Tony Adams is on the water, and they enjoyed themselves recording this record, Laura. You always have a very positive view on these sort of things.
Well, you've already warned me that I've got to be nice because all the proceeds are going to charity, but it's pathetic.
Thierry Henry is a decent mover.
Say a top player, and they move well, but no, not for me, the record.
You don't fancy it?
No. Well, there's only Arsenal fans who buy it, so I can't upset anybody, can I?